welcome to Smile and Spread a Little Joy. I'm Deborah, the Smile Lady, and Smile is support, motivate, invest, love, and educate. And we're going to break that down because my theory is this: we were all born to smile. Yes, everybody was born to leave this place better than they found it. I don't think we were created to leave it worse. Now, we have choices, but we were all born to smile and share our gift. That smile is what your gift is, your personal gift. And you are so unique. So, really quick, before I go to this guest that I have, Cathy Johnson, I think we may be sisters. Yes, I'm Deborah Johnson, Cathy Johnson. We got to check our ancestry DNA, because I just found another cousin while working here. We checked ancestry.com and we were related. So, anyway. What I'm going to do right now is break down the smile. Now, little ones, if you're still smile kids out there, you can go ahead and get your parents. And we're going to go with the S. This is the American Sign Language symbol for S. And that is for support. Support. And it takes a whole village to raise just one child. You may not even have children, but you are a part of and maybe a positive example to someone who needs that help. Or maybe yours is grown and you can help. Because I say mothers and grandmothers are mothers with erasers on it. They learn from the mistake with their kids and get to fix it with the grandkids. So now we're going to go with the M, which is motivate. The sign for that is in God or enthusiasm. Enthusiasm. What is it in you that makes you tick? What is your purpose? And you know what, mothers? You can find that out when they're about 5 or 6 years old. It starts to develop. That's why I personally believe you play to get smart, and children don't really have to go to school until 6. If you can homeschool them, that's even better. But once they get to school, they start mimicking others and this. But if you nurture them and do that at home, you get to see what their gift is. So that's that inner motivation that you should watch for. Don't make them be what you couldn't be. You wanted to be a model, so you're going to make them be a model. No. Look and see what they want to do, and that will develop by about 6 years old. Now, invest. You had your support system. You found out what they want to do. Once they know what they want to do and they do it, how are they going to give that gift back and help the community to leave this place better than they found it? Now, this is I. You can use serve. That's what we're here to do. I think Muhammad Ali quotes this. I don't know if he's the original quote, but the rent you pay here on earth is what you give back to others. So while you're here, that is what you do. You're supposed to give back to others. Now, your love. This is an L. Your love. The smallest word in smile, but the most powerful. The most powerful. Without the L, it would just be a SME. It wouldn't even be smile. You have to have that love. And I'm talking agape. That man that just slaughtered that 74-year-old for nothing. We love him. Something was going wrong. You don't have to like what he did or like him, but you have to love him. That's agape. Even love the unlovable. You love them. Now the E. E. Educate or teach. Okay? Train up a child in the way he should go. When he is old, he will not depart from it. Are we truly training our children now? Are we letting social media? Are we letting everybody else? Yes, that's going to happen. But if we put a good, strong foundation and that balance in there, they won't go astray. Those roots will go deep and they'll come back. They may kind of go off a little bit, but they'll come back. So that is the smile. Spread just a little bit of joy. And I am really joyful because I have Cathy Johnson on the show. Today is her actual birthday, and she made me smile through her daughters, Chelsea and Brittany, and her husband, Mr. Johnson. This is just a smile family. I mean, I just got to do that. So she's an author and an educator. She homeschooled her children. We're going to talk about that and how we can take our youth back. And youth, go ahead. Let me know what we need to do and what you want and what you need, because I know times are different in this digital age. Digital natives are born after 1985. Digital immigrants are born before 1980. There's a 5-year bridge in there. and the generation won't be over, first generation until 2025. So we're still new in this, blending the old school and new school. Well, welcome, Cathy.
Thank you. So wonderful to be here.
Yes, I am so happy because I see you in the community with your daughters and you're so involved. And that's why I really wanted you on the show.
Thank you.
And what I want to do is focus on you now. What is it you, Cathy, love doing so much you would do it even if you did not get paid?
Well, I guess I've been doing that for the last 24 years, which is serving my family.
Yes.
I thoroughly enjoy just being able to infuse wisdom into my children through my readings, through my faith. I enjoy watching them discover and find out who they are and how they evolve into women of God.
Now, you homeschooled them, right?
I did.
All the way through what grade?
Well, I have two daughters, and I homeschooled them up until 8th grade for the oldest. The oldest went to public school, and then my youngest, she did public school for a year and decided no, that wasn't what she wanted to do. So she came back into the home, and I continued to homeschool her until she graduated.
Okay. Now, this is a perfect example, people. On each child is different. You have to look at each child. All of my children had different educational needs. And people talked about me saying I should treat them the same. No, God doesn't treat me like he treats Cathy. You don't treat a cactus like you do a rose. You have to know, and that's where it's important, to know what they love to do. Now, granted, I'm not downing the mothers that's sending their kids to school at 2.5, getting them prepared for Princeton. That may be that child's gift. Some children, they love school. Some children kick and scream and they have other things and other needs. You won't treat that child. That's what they did with my children. They tried to compare my one daughter and said, oh, this one's not like her. She was gifted. I said, no, all my children are gifted. Excuse me? But they have different areas of gifts. See, that's
Absolutely.
what I love.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Thank you. So you treated them different. So what do they do now, and what type of support system did you have with them?
Well, early on, before they were even school age, before they were 4, 5, and 6, where you start to think about kindergarten, whatever, I was starting to teach them the fundamentals of learning. So my oldest started to read at the age of 3, and my youngest, she was a great mimicker. So she was reading the whole story, but we discovered the book was upside down. And my husband said, look at the book, look at the book. And I'm like, oh my goodness. But she knew every word. So she could hear, she was an auditory learner,
that's
as opposed to the other one was a kinetic. So what I think we really focused on in the earlier years were their strengths, so that we could pull them out and discover where, what can I do to help, obviously feed this particular fruit. So when they became school age, there was a woman in my church who had homeschooled her son. And he was wonderful, just really brilliant. And I was so impressed, and I said, I would love to be able to do that. I was educated, college educated, but I had no faith in doing it myself. And she said, all you have to do is just believe. And then get the resources. So I did. I invested in resources. We did a Christian education, a Becca, and from there it's history.
And one thing I noticed about Cathy is that she keeps her children actively involved, and she just didn't send them when they were minors, send them someplace. She had to come and check it out. Some of y'all just let them go. You don't have anything, out there. You have to know. Even when my children went to spend the night, I went and knocked on the door. Where's the mama? Okay, because you have to really be involved. And I love that tenacity. I was like, whoa, I found somebody just like me. It's like, it's kind of got me. It's like, okay, where, when, this, but we have to be diligent.
You have to.
They didn't need Amber Alert with me. I was the Amber Alert.
Amen.
I was the Amber Alert. You have to know. You have to know.
You do.
So I love
You
the
do.
fact that you notice their differences. What are they doing now? Are they working in the gift that you saw when you were homeschooling them?
Oh, absolutely. Because my oldest, Brittany, she always had an interest in science. First, she wanted to be a veterinarian because she loved animals. So we knew it was something to do with medicine in some kind of way. And so now, fast forward, she is actually in nursing school.
Okay.
And
Didn't she go to Pepperdine also?
She did. She
Okay.
did. She
Okay.
did. And she is very gifted. She's an intelligent young lady, and
Like their mama.
and she really has a knack, not just for medicine, but for people. And she loves being able to interact with people, and she has a spirit of discernment in the area of people's needs.
See?
And
See?
so that's kind of where I see where spiritually she is able to partner in medicine, and it's going to be a blessing. It's going to be a beautiful thing.
Very good. Very
beautiful
good.
thing.
Very good. Now, Chelsea, I know
That's
Chelsea.
my youngest. Yes.
She is doing.
Chelsea is a performer, an entertainer. She's extremely
Always.
gifted.
Yes.
Extremely gifted. She started singing basically before she could speak. I would sing worship songs to her, and she would basically mouth them and whatnot. And then from the Bible studies we would do in our home, she would go in front of the people in our Bible study group and literally do the worship. And from there, she has always kind of walked in that path from pageants to performing at churches. Potter's House in Dallas is where we basically have our foundation. And that was her first, she calls it, that's my first stage. So she sang
And she
there.
has a video clip of her singing at the Potter's House.
She does.
Maybe the next time we'll throw that.
She
and
does.
Now, I know I got to bring this out. She was a gold medalist, a winner with the NAACP AXO, Altadena AXO.
2014.
Okay, that is Afro Academic, Cultural, Technological, Scientific Olympics of the Mind in Altadena, where Samia Sudan and Juanita Devon was the head of it at the time with Jalal. No, I think it was
Wilberta Richardson.
Wilberta Richardson, who is currently the director over that. Fabulous program. Google it. NAACP AXO. That is an acronym. And it focuses on their gifts and talents for African American young children from 9th grade to 12th grade.
Yes.
Then she also has a thing in the journal, the Pasadena Journal.
Oh, yes. She loves to write. She did, as I said earlier, she was in school for a year. But during that year, she experienced some kind of underbelly of bullying by some students. And that soured her, so she kind of backed up from the school system. But as we know that everything works together for them that love and serve the Lord, she started writing this article called the Pretty Pioneer Campaign. And PRETTY is an acronym, which stands for Pretty, Radiant, expressive, timely, and totally unique.
Yes.
And that's what she writes every month, and it's about encouraging young people to trust who they are and to walk the path that they believe God has given them to walk. And she's been writing for the journal now for, I think, 5 years.
5 years. Oh, good.
5 years, and she loves it, just like clockwork, loves it. But aside from that, also, in addition to writing, she is a singer. She actually is just about to release this Friday another single that she has written with someone else. This is her first time doing a collaboration.
Okay, good.
And we're extremely excited about it, and we're excited.
Well, you know, Chance the Rapper, independent artist, just got 2 Grammys, first time ever. So she may be able to do that. You know, she get it out there in time, she can release it, get enough of the response, she could be up for a Grammy as an indie.
Oh yeah, oh absolutely.
So you've already said, and I see how you invest and give back to the community. So do you want to expand on how we're already with the support system, and I know, and then your inner motivation and what you love to do, how you invest back in the community and how you love what you do. We can go into that.
Well, yeah, investing in the community, I believe, is basically how we live our lives.
Period. Yep.
You know, our family dynamics, we're extremely close family. And I always tell them when they're young to old, you know, when you walk out of the door, you represent not just yourself, but
Exactly.
you represent all of us.
Yep.
And, you know, we never want someone to call up and say, well, you know what, so-and-so did. We want to be able to know them well enough to know if this is true or not, you know. And so I think I'm confident in saying, and my husband would agree, that we know them well enough to know their shortcomings, you know, and misgivings. And that way, I think, you know, as you live your life and as you go through life, you learn that, you know, the things that we've deposited in them will definitely be will noticed in life.
Yeah. And one thing about her two daughters, they better represent. They look just like her. They say, "Oh Lord, that's Cathy child." See, that's what we do. I would wonder what our parents meant. You better represent you. And to this day, people walk up, "You Madge's daughter," and I'm like, and the older I get, I look more like her. And now I see, you know, that. One thing I want to say, parents and youth, I want you to know that we don't know it all. Yes, we have that blueprint of the Bible, but sometimes, you know, you leave out the sugar and stuff in a recipe and the cake will go flat. But one thing with the children, we can't just uncrumble it and start all over. We just have to kind of move on. So don't hold your parents, don't hold me for those mistakes. You 15 and have a child, and you 25 and have the next child, I think you should have learned something between those two. And as you know better, you do better.
That's
right?
true.
Now,
That's true.
did you always, like, I know we're going to get into Love and Educate. Where did you go to school?
I went to school in Illinois. I'm originally from Illinois. I went to Western Illinois University, and I studied sociology and theater.
Ah.
And so I think the theater bug kind of carried over to my youngest because I did plays and loved it, just loved it.
Oh, wow. Wow. Well, my master's is in human development and social change. And the doctor will be in psychology and weaving that in with the SMILE, Norman Cousins, and going on with different people who exude a smile, not only from the outside, I'm not talking cheesing, but from the inside.
Yes.
And I don't know if you know Norman Cousins, he was diagnosed with terminal cancer and they gave him 6 months to live. And he says, well, if I just have 6 months to live, let me get busy. So he checked out of the hospital. Why do I need all of this? You know? And he went across the street and lived in this hotel. And basically, he smiled his way through. 30 years later, he died. Negative people out of his life, reading positive things,
Yes.
living and eating right,
Yes.
traveling, doing all of these things. Like, if I have 6 months, let me do this. Comedies, he would just get all of this. 30 years later. Norman Cousins, look it up. A lot of y'all don't believe elders, which you should listen to the wisdom. Norman Cousins. While you're looking at this Facebook Live, hello, you can go ahead and do Norman Cousins at the same time. That phone is smart but you know, don't let the phone be smarter than you. Okay, so I want to branch off if we have time. I know we're coming back for a part 2 because I understand you've been married to your wonderful husband. How long?
31 years.
Yes, so that's going to be a whole show in itself to see how easy it was to
Right.
to do 31 years. So already we're going to go into that part 2. And what's your husband's name?
Michael.
Michael. Say hi, Michael. Michael, the lover. Anyway. So what we want to talk about is how do we do like you did. You almost have the perfect model as far as homeschooling and raising your beautiful daughters. I've met them. What do we need to do to get, especially the ones in foster care, which don't have anybody in juvenile, we need to do something, and even with your daughters helping to mentor and role model. What do you think the solution is on getting our daughters back, preparing them for our kings?
You know, it's a blueprint that we all need to study, but some of the things that I remember doing that was very paramount in shaping them, I wrote confessions, okay? And every day they would read these confessions. And basically it just talks about who they are in Christ, what they purpose to do and accomplish, and how God will be instrumental in doing it for them and through them. And I didn't even realize until about 2 months ago that Chelsea actually still confesses that. I had no idea.
Wow.
I had no idea. And
Train
so
up a
she
child, I'm telling you.
she had a really big exam coming up, and I'm like, well, I'm praying. She says, I'm good. I already did my confession. I said, which one? She says, Mommy, the one that you wrote when I was 3. I said, well, I'll be. I had no idea. So that's really, that blessed me. That blessed me.
See, that right there, that's why I go through so much makeup. I tend to be crying because stuff like that really touches, and I know when it's Holy Spirit because I can feel the prickles on my arm, and I'm really in tune to that, and you could just tell. And Chelsea is such, I mean, she's just the way she works a room when she walks in.
Big person,
and her and
yeah.
Brittany, even though they look alike, you could tell they're sisters. You could tell they're your daughter. They're so different,
They're so
but
different.
they complement each other
Yes.
so well.
Yes, yes, yes.
I noticed that. It's like, wow, you and your husband did a awesome job in raising them.
Thank
now,
you.
what I want to say, and I have her, and I hope you come out and be on a panel. I want in May, near Mother's Day, to have women down on a panel, and we can agree to disagree on raising. Some of us try to be as young as our daughters. We're not examples. We're afraid of getting old, and we're trying to live our life through our daughters and what we didn't do. Nurture the gift. Be proud of who you are. Even if you do other things, know who you are. Are you a grandmother and don't know what you love to do? Even if you didn't get paid, it's not too late. My book is It's Never Too Late. Growing up at 60, it's never too late to learn. Now I'm past 60, 65 I should say. And it's never too late to learn. Right now I'm starting to sing. I'll be earning my doctorate probably by the time I'm 67. It's never too late. I'm going to Africa before this year is up, not in ashes. I'm going while I'm living and can breathe and still climb up the steps. So set those goals. It's not too late. And don't be bitter because you didn't do it. Do it now. You know what I'm saying? So what is it now that your children are grown? What are you and your wonderful husband doing right now to nurture your gifts?
Well, as I mentioned earlier, I've been
You want
writing.
to read? Yes, you can
Yeah, I've
read
been
your-
writing, and now I have more time to write.
Okay.
Now I have more time because I've been asked for many years on maybe doing books for people to help them homeschool. What can they do to homeschool? What are the steps? What do I need to do to, help have children that are loving
that's
education and, love education and to have it without pulling my hair out. So I started writing a manual a couple years ago on the steps on how to do that.
Okay.
Because it's not as hard as you think. Basically it just takes you just wanting to do it. It really does.
Okay. Before we
And-
run out of time, go ahead. You
Yes.
finish that thought. I want to make sure you
Oh,
get to
yes.
your memoir.
Yes,
I mean,
I am
not your
writing
memoir,
I'm writing a book actually, and it's about my life, raising 2 daughters, and my husband who supported me completely because he allowed for me to do it, and I didn't have to work outside the home. I did freelance writing, but basically they went with me. So they learned a lot. They met a lot of people through my writing. So one of the things that I did in the beginning of the book is talk about what it's like to be a mother.
Okay.
And the hustle and bustle.
Okay, good. I want to hear this. I got to hear the social work and the drama. in this. Here you go.
It's called, it's from Mommy's Mantra. And this poem is entitled Exhale. Though weary sometimes wears a badge, take a deep breath, new phases will hatch. They'll cry a little less and sneeze a little more. They'll poop on your best dress and hubby will snore. They'll get through the night, your mom was right. Prayer will always keep watch like a light. They'll laugh with excitement at all your silly faces. They'll take the first step. They'll color in spaces. They'll write their name, even brush right one day. Take a deep breath in your resting space. Their tantrums will cease if you stand your ground, but remember, they're arrows. Don't put them down. They'll tie up the trash and look for rewards. Maybe shuffle their feet to get on one accord. They'll push every button you've ever displayed. They'll smile in a way that will mold you like clay. There will come a time, though, absurd it may sound, when they think they are right and argue you down. Stand firm, precious mom, and finish the fight As for you and your house, Jeremiah was right. They'll call you old school and maybe even dated. They'll tease at your style and pretend to hate it. Deep down, we all know they're just pleading a case to stretch wider, farther, and soar even higher. Take a deep breath in your resting space. There will come a time when the hum of the house is an old game show and shared soup with a spouse. Your heart will flutter each time there's a text. To pick up the phone is yet much to expect. As they share their new lives away from the nest, you'll take a deep breath and be thankful for rest.
That is so cute. It's funny, it's true, it's you.
Time
That
passage.
is so, wow. This is Mommy's Mantra and called Excel. So that's the name of your book?
Mommy's Mantra.
Mantra. Well, see, I'm telling you, you heard it here first. I don't know if you heard it here first, but you know, she is going to be back. And basically, I truly, and if you know, as a matter of fact, I wouldn't even mind on the panel of young women, even if we have segments, to have your daughters on. Just like my daughters, I know I was a tough mom, being a single mom, raising 4 kids, this and that and the other. You had to be the mother and the father. That's not the design. So when you become that meanie, there's no other person they can run to soothe it. So you're the meanie. So they wind up hating the one that's raising them.
Right.
But when you do this and you go, okay, I need to really talk this out, and they're still telling me about what you do wrong and this, but you're living, you're this, you know. They don't know we could have walked away like other parents.
They do in time, you know. I think, you know, the whole thing about parenting is after a while, they do get it, you know. They get it. They really
get
it.
it before. A lot of times they don't get it until they're crying over your casket. I'm just praying that a lot of, just like with me, the book I'm writing, and I call my mother's 84, the baby girl of over 20 children, and she's the only one living. And I told her, I want to finish this book so you can write the foreword. And me and her had such a tumultuous relationship. You know, back then it was more abusive. But now I'm appreciating what she went through.
Yes.
And I hope mine come way around before I'm 84.
Right.
You know, and we just get to gel and learn from each other.
Yes.
But I know it's coming down. Any final words of wisdom you want to say in your camera?
Yes. One thing I would love to say is love, love, love. That is the basis of everything. If you can love each other and respect each other, you can't fail.
Yes.
You can't fail. Because that's the one thing I truly, truly believe in is trusting them and treating them like adults, even when they're children, so that they understand that I respect you, you respect me.
Right.
And transparency. I shared everything with my daughters, probably more than, they'll tell you more than they want to know. But I didn't want them to think that I was somewhere way up here and they were down here. I always wanted to let them know, look, I've been where you're going, and if it's a bad situation, the bridge is out. The bridge is out. Don't even think about it. You know, and hopefully they'll trust you enough to walk that path.
And my words of wisdom is this. If you're not working your purpose, what is your purpose? So find out what it is for you to do. And like you hear my brother's music, he wrote this, never give up. Never give up on your dream. Even if you're married, working a job just over broke, still work your passion, because that's going to fuel you through it. Never give up on your passion, even if you have to earn a living to help you work your passion. So I'm just loving this so much.